ya da 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 da, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la, ya la la 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 la, ya la la, ya la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la, ya la la 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 la, ya la la, ya la ya la, ya la la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya da 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 da, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la.
Shabbat Shalom. I hope that you are faring well during these crazy days, these days that we make a little less crazy by being here together and by connecting with one another. I wanted to start with some words by the American Lakota Sioux Chief Yellow Lark. While his words may be just a little different than we would use, I think that the message that he offers is one that is applicable to us and to so many people. It says, "O great spirit, whose voice I hear in the winds and whose breath gives life to all the world, hear me. I am small and weak. I need your strength and wisdom. Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever behold the red and purple sunsets. Make my hands respect the things that you have made and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise so that I may understand the things you have taught my people. Let me learn the lessons you have hidden in every leaf and rock. I seek strength, not to be superior to my brother, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me always ready to come to you with clean hands and straight eyes, so when life fades as the fading sunset, my spirit will come to you without shame." And now we ask for God's hand to be in everything, recognizing God's hand in everything with Adat Elohim Bakol.
Adat Elohim, Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim, Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim Bakol, Elohim Bakol, Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim, Adat Elohim, Adat Elohim Bakol. Adat Elohim, Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim, Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim Bakol, Elohim Bakol, Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim, Adat Elohim, Adat Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim, Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim Bakol. Adat Elohim, Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim Bakol, Elohim Bakol, Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim Bakol, Adat Elohim, Adat Elohim, Adat Elohim Bakol.
And if you have candles around you, go ahead and gather those candles, place them on a table, place them on a desk, place them wherever you can, where they are safe, and join us in the lighting of these Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
And now we are so excited and pleased to call Lily Cohen forward. Lily is celebrating her bat mitzvah tomorrow. And we are so glad to both be celebrating with her and that she will be leading us in our Kiddush today. So please go get your wine, your juice, whatever you want to be saying the blessing over, and please join with Lily in this prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit ki hu yom tehillah l'mikra'e kodesh zeher litziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'harta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodsheha ve'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh haShabbat.
And now join us in the singing of Lecha Dodi, just as we have created Shabbat with the lighting of the candles and with the sanctification of the day, making this day special by our Kiddush. We now greet the Shabbat bride, just as we wish we could greet each other in person, but how we will be greeting each other virtually in our virtual oneg. Please join together with us.
Ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la ya la la ya la ya la 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 Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Ishmi'anu המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשמו תפארת בלי תהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נזוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורי קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך דגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, או בואי חלה, או בואי חלה. יררי יאללה 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 yalla la yalla yalla la yalla yalla la yalla la yalla la yalla la yalla la lecha dodi likrat kala yalla la yalla la yalla la b'di Shabbat dikabela lecha dodi likrat kala yalla la yalla la yalla la b'di Shabbat dikabela.
We're now in the section where we are talking about the creation, we're talking about love and revelation, and we're talking about Shema and redemption. This first prayer for creation, one of the things we do is we celebrate the fact that God makes the day pass and the night come, the day come after that. And I must say there are a lot of things that I hope God will make pass. One is this virus that is holding us here in our homes and away from each other. But the fact is, even though these are challenging days and we don't know how many days they will be, it will pass and we will be together. And even if we are cooped up in our houses, protecting ourselves now, or whether we're going out to the market, or whether we are going for walks, whatever it may be, we will be able to be together again. We will be able to embrace once again, slowly at first, carefully at first, but fully. So right now, let's sing about God making the day and the night pass. Avir yom uvelayla.
Ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, Ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, Ma'avir ben yom u'ben layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. Ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, Ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם לעולם באר ומאוויר יום ומביא לילה, מאוויר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו.
We've talked about creation. Now we talk about love and revelation, that out of love, God taught us the Torah. Some words about love given to us by Helen Keller from our Starlight Shabbat Siddur. She says, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or touched. They must be felt in your hearts. And with those words of love in our hearts, we turn to our Shema as we talk about our oneness with each other and with God.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
It's my pleasure to call Lily back so that she can lead us in the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu habarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'diberta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'shokvecha u'v'kumecha Ukshartam leo al yadecha, v'hayu latotafot bein einecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha, uman tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim lelohehem, ani Adonai Elohehem, asher hotzeit yatem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lahiyot lahem lelohim, Ani Adonai Elohehem.
We now continue with our prayer of redemption by singing together the Mi Chamocha prayer, standing at the shores of the Red Sea.
Ya da 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 ya la 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 ya da da ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar bat chodesh nora tehilot osefele nora tehilot osefele Malchotecha ra'u banecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Elianu ve'ameru Malchotecha ra'u banecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Elianu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Ya da 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 ya da 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la la.
With the freedom that we have after we've passed through the Red Sea, we now have the freedom to stand in God's presence, to pray whatever prayers are in our hearts. And so we turn to these words, Adonai Sifatai, from our Psalms to put us in the reflective and joyous mood to stand in God's presence and to feel that sense of relationship.
La la la, ya la 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 la. Ya la la, ya la 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 la. Ya da da, ya da 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 da. Ya la la, ya la 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 la. May my lips come quietly apart and stir the yearnings of my heart, and in just a whisper may I fold all the moments that are mine to hold. There's a gentle flowing stream within. In its waters all my hopes begin. From the place before my voice is heard, come my dreams expressed without a word. Adonai Sifatai, Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Agid Tehilatecha Adonai Sifatai, Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Agid Tehilatecha.
It's now time for us to turn to our Amidah prayer, our Avot and Givarot. I'm so pleased that to lead us in our Amidah prayer is once again Lily Cohen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zoher Hasdei Avot v'Yimaho, Umevi Gelula Livnei V'Nehem, L'Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umashiach Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mehaye HaKol Atah Rav L'Hoshia Morid Hatal Mehokel Haim Be'Hesed Mehaye HaKol Be'Rahamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofei Holim Umatir Asurim Umekaye Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Bal Giverot Umido Mela Melech Mimim Umechaye Umatzmiya Yeshua V'ne'eman atah lahayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mahaye ha'akol.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please take a few moments of silent prayer.
Hallelujah, bekodshon. Hallelujah, bekira uzor. Hallelujah, bigvorotan. Hallelujah, kurov kudlo. Hallelujah, beteka shofar. Hallelujah, benevel vechinor. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
One of my neighbors moved out of our apartment complex this past weekend, and she lives with her daughter and grandson. They needed a bigger place, and I'm really happy for them, but I'm a little sad for me and for Sandy because of all of the neighbors living in our complex. We knew her name and the name of her daughter and her grandson. People walk by me all the time, and I have no idea who they are. And it just feels, I don't know, awkward and intrusive to introduce myself again and again. It's kind of strange because as a rabbi at Temple, I introduce myself all the time. But with the people living around me, it's just hard and awkward to do. That's why I was sad that this family is leaving, because they were one of the few people that I could call and say, as I did a few weeks ago, my battery is dead. Can you jump the car? It's a difference between living near someone and being a neighbor. Being a neighbor is not about living near. Sure, a person who lives next to you may be your neighbor, but it doesn't make them neighborly. It doesn't make them care about you or for you. In this week's Torah portion, we saw Moses get a little snippy with some neighboring tribes, Israelite tribes, who were hardly being so neighborly. So the Israelites have been wandering around the Sinai desert for, close to 40 years now. They marched up the eastern side of the Jordan River before they were going to turn left and cross into the Promised Land, which lies to the west. But the leaders of the tribe of Gad, that's G-A-D, not G-O-D, the tribe of Gad and the tribe of Reuben looked around at the land on the east side of the Jordan River, and they said to themselves, this would really be good land for herds of cows. And, we've got herds of cows. Maybe we should just stay here and not go into the Promised Land. We should probably go tell Moses. So the leaders of Reuben and Gad go to Moses and they say, this land is good for cows. We've got cows. We're thinking of staying here. Now, I imagine that Moses just stared with them for the longest time, the vein of his forehead pulsing as he got angrier and angrier. Moses says something like this: you know that God gave us this land, but the people living in this land have not given it to us. We have to fight for this land. So when we are fighting in the land that God promised us, you will be sitting on your side of the Jordan River waving at us and wishing us good luck. You think the other tribes are going to want to fight for the land that God gave us when you're here drinking your mint juleps and having some nice cheese from your cows? I'm glad you're staying here. It's great for you, but it's lousy for us. It will sap the spirit of our other tribes and endanger our agreement with God. So the answer is no, you may not stay here. With that, what Reuben and God were saying is that they wanted to be their neighbors, but they didn't want to act neighborly. They wanted to serve their own needs and shrug when thinking about the needs of the rest of the tribes. Now, especially in America, we may not think that that's doing anything wrong. They were doing what's best for them, and that's all that they need to worry about. This is an individualism that is revered in America, but can be broken if taken to the extreme. I don't have to help my neighbor. I don't have to wear my mask. I do what is good for me. Our country does what is good for us and no one else. But that's not what happens in our Torah portion. Reuben and God say, whoa, wait a minute. Who said that we're only out for ourselves? We want to build some pens for our cows and some cities for our families. And then we will be armed and we will be ready to fight right beside you. In other words, they committed not only to live besides these other tribes, but to work with these other tribes and to work on their behalf. They would be part of us. They would contribute to the Israelite people. Living in our apartment building, there is no Moses who enforces neighbors caring for one another. There isn't even someone who encourages people to meet one another. If neighbors are going to move, if neighbors are going to transition from living near one another to being there for one another, then we have to do it ourselves. If you think it's difficult to do, then you are not alone. 1,800 years ago, the rabbis wrote this about friendship and about neighborliness. Yehoshua ben Parachia says, make for yourself a master of Jewish knowledge and acquire for yourself a friend. What does that even mean? Acquire for yourself a friend or a neighbor. We're not supposed to buy our friends or pay off our neighbors. An answer, I think, came hundreds of years later in a midrash called Avot de Rabbi Natan. In it, it asks, how do we acquire a friend? A person should acquire a friend by eating and drinking with them, by studying Torah and discussing important topics with them, by traveling with them, by sharing private thoughts with them, thoughts regarding Torah, thoughts regarding life. And when they debate matters of Torah and importance, the friend will respond. And thus the bonds of friendship and truth will be strengthened. And when we do get to know someone and feel that we can rely on them and they can rely on us, I don't know, it just helps me to feel safer. It just helps me to feel better. When I think about what we do as a temple, one of the things we try to do is to foster that sense of caring and mutual support among our members. We don't act like Moses, admonishing families who do only what's good for themselves without regard to others. That's just not how we work. But we do work hard to provide opportunities for people to form relationships with others where we can care for one another. I think about the wise women, that informal chavara that just keeps track of the other women in our congregation. When we went to restaurants When we could go to restaurants, they would send a note out to one another and say, join us, I'm going to be at this restaurant at this time. And now many of them just keep tabs on one another and remain connected. I think of our TAE engaged groups that meet together ostensibly to talk about some topic, but it's also just to check in, just to see how the other person is doing. During this difficult pandemic roller coaster ride, our work as a congregation is in connecting one another, and that work is more important than ever. So many of us, of necessity, remain in our homes, distant and alone. And yet, when we can offer ourselves to others, to reach out and call, to remind ourselves that we are part of a we rather than a collection of I's, that's what we need so that we won't feel alone. If you want to feel less alone, if you want to contribute to we as a congregation, we can do so by connecting people to one another. Reach out to me, and we as a congregation will help to create those pockets of connections, those friendships that can help us to feel as that we are truly a congregation together. We now join together thinking of all of those people who are in need of healing at this time. We bring you to our hearts and to our minds as our voices join from our homes to our collective we.
שברח אבותינו, מי שברח אמותינו. May the light of God bring you strength and mind. May this blessing heal your soul tonight. Refuah shlema, refuah tanefesh, refuah taguf, amen. Mi sheberach avoteinu, mi sheberach imotenu. May the words we sing put your mind at ease. May this blessing bring you love and peace. Refuah shlema, refuah tanefesh, refuah taguf, amen. Yisheberach avoteinu, Misheberach imotenu. May the light of God bring you strength and might. May this blessing heal your soul tonight. Amen. Amen.
We now take our moments of memory where we turn to think about those people who have been lost to our lives or from our lives. We first want to turn to those people whose family members died within the past 30 days, whose families are within the Shloshim period of mourning. We remember Deanna Robin, mother of Joy Zubiak, Stacy Sherman DeVries, and Andrew Sherman. Larry Dichter, father of Rick Dichter, grandfather of Elijah Dichter, former father-in-law of Gigi Dichter. Stanley Raymond, father of Melanie Sherman and Barbara Story, husband of Audrey Raymond. We also remember people whose family members died at this season in the past and whose families are remembering them for a yortzeit. Jenny Bernstein, aunt of Robin Feldman, Frederick Blankstein, father of David Blankstein, Lawrence Kanan, father of Deborah Sample, Ruth Cohen, mother of Benny Beckman, Harold Fetter, grandfather of Stephanie Straja, Ann Gantz, grandmother of Stephen Wexler, Roger Goodman, brother-in-law of Risa and David Shaw, Cecilia Greenblatt, grandmother of Barbara Levasseur, Griffin Carlisle Iceland, grandson of Stephen and Janice Iceland, Jack Kapnick, grandfather of David Zasloff, Ron Keeler, husband of Diana Keeler, father of Elaine Weisberg, Joel Kirker, brother-in-law of Larry Hapner, Herb Krause, father of Barry Krause, Charles Cronin, uncle of Julie Reiches, Alan Laren, father of Michelle Preddy, Edith Levine, mother of Betsy DeVore, Helene Lopez, cousin of Terry Rosen, Herbert Morris, uncle of Nat Altschuler, James Murray, grandfather of Robert Murray, Joel Orloff, father of Tammy Finkbeiner, Anita Pincus, mother of Ira Pincus, Odessa Roach, grandmother of Judy Barrow, Helen Salfi, grandmother of Bob Salfi, Martin Steinberger, mother of Dean Steinberger, Betty Thompson, mother of Cinda Rothman, Nathan Trost, father of Ruth Bloom, and Roberto Vivante, grandfather of Gigi Dichter. We also want to call to mind everyone who is still remembering someone within the last 11 months. Usually we would have you stand and say their names as well. The Kaddish that we are saying today is very much for your loved ones as well. So please say their names out loud, bring their names to your heart as we say this blessing together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah be'alma dvarach chirutev yamlich malchutei b'chaye chon uv'yom mechon v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olalmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shemei de kudusha berichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'miram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom, Oseh shalom, Oseh shalom b'imromav. Oseh shalom, Oseh shalom, Oseh shalom b'imromav. O ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. O ya'aseh shalom. O ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'yimeru amen. Oseh shalom, Oseh shalom, Oseh shalom b'imromav ve'yimeru amen.
Want to wish Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I hope you'll join us at our Oneg following. It is always great to see people, just checking in with people, seeing how things are going with them. I think we're going to be meeting Shira, the Shakir's dog. Did we meet her last time?
No, we just got her on Monday, so
okay. So make sure that you are there. Hopefully, she'll be okay with being on screen. Maybe I'll introduce you to Brutus as well, my dog. Bring your pets. We are all doing it. bit.ly/TAE Oneg.
Ya ya da 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la la ya la la ya la la ya la 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 ya ya da 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya ya la 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 ya la la la.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. We'll see you soon at the Oneg.